Good morning, everyone. Right, OT, Merlin and I have arrived in Snowdon National Park. We've had a lovely night at camp. This is supposed to be our quarry walks adventures, and it will be, but we've arrived in a heat wave. So the order of the day is getting up very early and finding places to walk that should be cool for the dogs, hopefully have water around, and then we'll probably go back to camp for a sleep and come out again this evening. So looking for cool shady walks, this is one that came up. So this is a National Trust property, Craflyn. I'm afraid I probably am pronouncing that wrongly. I've had a quick look at the sign. So there are waterfalls around, which is promising. The red walk, 2 miles, strenuous. I am probably not up for that, to be honest, but it's where I want to be. It's where the waterfalls are. So I think I am going to start that walk, and when it gets too much, we'll just turn around. So let's go. Once I've sussed out the area, then I'll decide whether I'm letting the dogs off. When you're in the Snowdon area and it says strenuous, it's probably not to be taken lightly. I've only just started out and we've still already got very steep gradients. So I may yet change my mind about which walk we're doing. That's some impressive moss, isn't it? Good girl. So as you can see, I have let the dogs off. No obvious signs of sheep. No signs saying there are. Obviously, if we come across any, I'll put them back on lead. But this is what I wanted. A stream that the dogs can get into to cool off and to drink. Right, decision time. Even the green route is described as moderate, and I think I'm going to be sensible, and that will do us for today. So let's head this way. This way, guys! Just looking behind me. Isn't that stunning? We're rising pretty rapidly, but it is lovely and cool. Again, looking behind us as I just catch my breath. Some of the track is quite overgrown, but nothing unpassable at all. It's only to be expected at this time of year anywhere, to be honest, and most of it is really pretty good. As usual, with a lot of National Trust places, the steps are designed for 6 foot plus people. Not myself and Little Legs, although he's managing far better than I am. Isn't this stunning? Just our sort of place. Woody and mossy and lovely. You can see just how much we've climbed in a very short period of time. It's only supposed to be a 1.5 mile walk, but it's going to be a proper 1.5 miles. I'm taking advantage of a handy rock to have a sit and have a drink myself. Don't ever assume there's going to be water when you do these walks with your dogs. Obviously I have got a squash for myself and a bottle of water for them. Still on the right route, always good. You can tell that it's not walked nearly as much as some of the other paths around here, simply because of the amount of plant growth. Good girl. All right. Come on, Oats. Good girl. Right, we're starting with downhill now. Whether it's actually downhill or we then go up again, who knows? But this is quite a nice track. You can hear the birds, aren't they wonderful? At this time of year, in a drought, the path is wet, a little bit muddy, slippery at points, so just worth bearing in mind for if you're coming, certainly in the winter. But wow, look at that. Well, the dogs are having a field day. Yeah, we're actually just walking through a bog, really. Definitely the right decision to get out early today. You can see just how blue the sky is already. It's gonna be warm. Isn't this wonderful? It's just stunning up here. I must say, I hadn't quite expected this. This is brilliant. Definitely the right decision for me today to do this path and not the one described as strenuous. And you still get to enjoy the views, you still get to enjoy being out here. There is some heather out. I'm out of touch, not living on Exmoor anymore. I'm not used to when the heather is actually around. The lovely bits of purple are wonderful. As you can see, the dog's got far too much energy, and this is why, for their own sake, we'll go out back and chill out at camp. Again, a little look back. Well, we're climbing again, but we found a lovely, cool, damp spot for a bit of a breather. Looks as though we might be heading back into the woods, so just in case this is our last view of this area, let's just have a quick look. Isn't that wonderful? This has far surpassed my expectations of what I suppose I had in mind was a little forest walk. This is stunning. A perfect first walk of our holiday. Quite rocky, quite uneven. Time for me to put the camera down. We are very much still climbing, which is just a little bit of a worry for me from the perspective of coming down again. When looking at the route they took to get up there, I hope I haven't got to do that. This path is steep and rocky. and not so stable. Alright, definitely needed drinks break. Lovely cool step to sit on. So I did have to take the same path as the dogs did, but it's not quite as bad as it looks. It is at least steady underfoot. Okay, let's carry on. Right, we've come to the sound of running water, but more importantly, we've also come to sheep on the other side of the wall. So, time to put the dogs on lead. I've just called the dogs to me rather than putting on lead, because it looks as though we're about to turn straight off to the right and head back away from the sheep. I must say, it's not quite the walk I expected, and although that is wonderful, I was hoping for more shade and cover for longer today. For one really crucial marker, and it's missing. Okay, it was on the floor, and matching it to the holes, it's straight on. The dogs have found water again, so they're happy. And we've got another green marker telling us straight on, so I'm happy. And we may as well be on top of the world. This is just stunning. What is perfect for me so far is that this is a lovely, gentle incline downhill on good footing. Very boggy ground again, but then that's how the dogs have found water. Oh, it really is just gorgeous. Campsite down below us. I can't believe I haven't seen a single person. It's not as though this is a hidden walk. It's National Trust. And on a day like today, I'd expect people to be out really early. So maybe it is true. Maybe people do just come to the area to do the big walks in Snowdon. I don't know what. I can't make out what that is over there. Right, I need to get a move on now. I need to get the dogs down into shade. This is great, although it's no shade for me. These ferns are just perfect for the dogs. After a full start with another uphill, we really are heading down now. Just what we needed. A lovely, cool, shady spot. Perfect timing. People ask me if I pose for dogs. The general answer is no. Occasionally, but they usually pose themselves. Merlin, he really is quite a sensible little chap. Although he can get most places Oaty can, he does tend to conserve his energy a bit more when he needs to. There's definitely that collie brain in there. Whereas someone else is just incredibly nosy. Little hidden post there. Have got to watch your footing through here, but it's not too bad. Ever get the feeling you're being watched? As I've already said, if I'd realised it was going to be quite this exposed, I wouldn't have done this walk today. Facebook recommendations are amazing, but it was only because I was tired after travelling, but I didn't Google it and research it myself. So that's lesson learned for the rest of the week. Well, this is definitely not a 1.5 mile walk, but sounds like Otis in the Cattle's water trough. It's not a water trough, but a very handy stream. The cattle are showing no interest in us whatsoever, and we're turning away from them. Perfect. That was spot on time for that stream, because I was nearly bordering turning back. It gets to this point of the walk where it makes no logical sense to turn back, but I just can't believe that we're still climbing. Right. We are climbing over rocks. This would be slippery in wet weather, but absolutely fine at the moment. And we've got a much appreciated breeze. This is one of the reasons I try and walk the dogs off lead if I can. They very sensibly gone ahead of me and put themselves in shade. And you can see we've got water here now, so I'm much happier. I just had a moment back there where I can give them all the water to drink in the world, but I'm not carrying enough to actually soak them in it. Okay, sound of running water, and Otis found herself a point to drink from. Good boy. This is more what I wanted to see the path do. Carrying on down towards the woods. Okay, so that's the black route, the much harder route, which we're not doing. This way, Merlin. Well, Otis not silly. She's found herself a mud pack. This isn't the easiest path. I won't be filming along it. It's stones through a bog. And that's just a bog. Right, looks like someone's made a path up this way. Okay, this is the worst bit of track I've come across. Well, it's a very good job I brought up plenty of pairs of shoes and boots with me. Apart from the one very high style, the route has been completely dog friendly. That one had lift up posts for dogs, and even the high style, I did have to lift Merlin up. Osie was fine. Again, you are just walking down rocks. Fine for me when it's dry like this. I would struggle with this if it was slippery. What a perfect shady sitting rock for us all to have a drink. Right, gang, time to get going again. Oh, there we go. These are the first people that we've seen on the whole walk. There we go. Very good to hear. About 15 minutes from the car park. And don't get me wrong, those of you who subscribe to us know I don't generally wish our walks away. It is simply because of the heat and being out here with the dogs. What a perfect spot for a bench. How lovely. Right, we better carry on. This way! Come on. Sound of happy, chilling out dogs. Not a particularly fun track to be going down with a dodgy knee, but there we go. Isn't that just utterly stunning? And these woody areas really can be as wonderful as the high up impressive stuff. I don't know what track I'm on now, but it's got to be the only route back to the car park. I hope. I can hear sheep, so I've called the dogs back to me. There's a green post, but it almost feels as though we're starting a walk again. I hope not. That looks more promising. Oh, what a stunning little spot with a stream. How lovely. Obviously very little water at the moment, but how lovely. That's what we needed, wasn't it, guys? Well, that's some impressive tree. Right, coming back to main track, it's time for me to put dogs on leads, I think. That's pretty cool. Yet again, we made another deviation. I keep thinking we're nearly at the road, I can hear the traffic, but not quite where we want to be. Wow. Okay. So that usually would be the route back to the car park, and obviously isn't right now. This way! Not that way. Okay, I've come full circle back to here. I've obviously done something wrong. But this is getting frustrating now. And hot. So as you can see, the dogs are fine. Look at that amazing moss. Right. Path diversion, but I didn't see any diversion. So let's just have a little look round here. Well, that's the car park there. So basically that diversion sign is pointing the wrong way. I will mention that when we get back, if there's any rangers on duty. Well, that looks familiar from what seems a very long time ago. So there we go, back at the car park. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed that walk. I'd have enjoyed it even more if it were a bit cooler, but that was my choice. So that is one I will highly recommend. Still not convinced. It was a mile and a half, but a very enjoyable walk. Take care everyone, and we'll see you all soon.